I grew up right here in New York. South Jamaica is my home. Yes, dangerous South Jamaica. I made it out. Wow, my very first show was at the comic strip. I can tell you it was March 31st, 1992. My first time ever on stage. I was completely terrified at the prospect of finally going on stage and doing stand-up, even though it's what I said I wanted. But I actually got on stage. I told my first joke. Forgot everything else I was supposed to say after that because the audience laughed and I wasn't ready for that, so it terrified me. But I remember the entire experience being wonderful. Where some opportunities have gone away, such as television, opportunities have presented themselves, which is the internet, and whether you're positioned to take advantage of that and you're not sort of stuck in an old way of doing things. That's the challenge, because you get your routine down. You think you know what you're doing. Okay, I'm headed for a late night spot. Like, oh, they don't have those anymore? Okay, now what? So it's a challenge, I guess, to stay up to date as the industry changes, because it is changing, constantly changing, and it's not enough. I don't think it really ever was enough just to write jokes. Yes, it's irritating that the question comes up because it gets boiled down to, are women funny? Which is not even really debatable. I think that's a distracting question from the real issue. It's how women in the industry are treated. And if we're looking at the numbers of women compared to men who have appeared on late night TV, and not just the particular show in question, we are not well represented. And that trickles down, to other areas in comedy. That trickles down to how we're treated at clubs, how we're treated at corporate events, how we're treated in any other place where comedians can be hired. It also affects us economically. If we're not hired in the same numbers as men, we're not making the same money. We might even at many times be paid less for the same gig. So those are the more serious repercussions that I'm interested in. Arguing whether women are funny or not, that's a distraction that doesn't get us anywhere. So I'm glad it comes up, because when it does, it is an opportunity to get to those deeper issues, if we can actually get to it. Americans for Humanism is an organization that's part of the Center for Inquiry, CFI, which is a national organization that advocates for secularism, both in politics as well as in everyday life. It's sort of reinforcing the separation of church and state. Like, yeah, whatever you want to believe is great, but kind of don't inflict it on the rest of us. The campaign that just started to coincide with, coincidentally, Black History Month, is an outreach campaign to reach out to the African American community, which is considered overwhelmingly religious and overwhelmingly Christian here in the United States, and to let them know that it's okay and it's natural to have doubts about religion. And if you do, there's an organization, there are people that are just like you that can support you. And it's a place, letting people know that there are places where you can come out and talk about it, that you're not odd, it's all right. Because the perception is that, if you have doubts and you're African American, if you have doubts about religion, and if you come out, and it really is like coming out, that you won't have any family support, that it's very difficult in some communities to do that. And there's also the idea that this is something that's brand new. And it's really not. There is a history of secular values, of humanism within the African American community, which is why the posters, which have debuted 7 cities around the country, New York just being one of them, that there are historical figures like Zora Neale Hurston, like Frederick Douglass, like Langston Hughes. So yeah, this isn't brand new. This has always been in our community, and it's time to embrace it.